human engineer, did not know that the alien woman whose armor he repairing was a queen. Ethan wiped the sweat from his brow and leaned back on the metal stool, surveying the half-repaired engine on the workbench. The hum of the space station was comforting, a constant reminder that he was alive, needed, and capable. His hands were greasy from hours of tightening bolts and recalibrating circuits, but he liked it. This was his world, a place of logic, precision, and craft. Here, he was not just a human. He was an engineer who could make things work, even when they seemed impossible. The quiet of the late shift was interrupted by a soft, deliberate knock on the workshop door. Ethan frowned, wiping his hands on a rag as he approached. "Who is it?" he called. A voice, calm and melodic yet carrying authority, answered, "I require your assistance." "Repairs are urgent." Ethan hesitated. The space station was small and most visitors were station personnel or traders. He wasn't expecting anyone else. Opening the door, he froze. Standing before him was a figure clad in full armor, its design unlike anything Ethan had seen before. It shimmered with a metallic blue sheen, and faint patterns of light traced along its contours, pulsing softly as if alive. The helmet obscured her face, but the way she stood, tall, commanding, and precise, made Ethan instinctively straighten his posture. Welcome," he said, gesturing inside. "I can help with your armor, but it looks complicated." The alien stepped in, her boots making a soft metallic sound on the floor. She removed her helmet with a fluid motion, revealing a face both human-like and distinctly alien. Her skin had a faint silvery hue, and her eyes glimmered like polished gemstones. Ethan felt a chill, not of fear but of awe. "I am Liara," she said simply. "This armor was damaged in combat. I need it functional again. Time is limited." Ethan nodded quickly, trying to hide his fascination. "Right, let's see it." As he examined the armor, he realized it was far beyond any human technology he had encountered. Its materials were lightweight but tougher than titanium. Small compartments opened and closed with subtle movements, powered by energy sources Ethan didn't fully recognize. It was alive in a way, responsive, intelligent, adaptable. "This is impressive," he muttered. "I've repaired combat suits before, but nothing like this. You know, it's not exactly human tech." Liara's expression didn't change, but her eyes lingered on his hands as he handled her armor. "Your methods are interesting. Human logic is different, yet effective." Ethan blinked. "Interesting? Thanks, I guess." He set to work, carefully dismantling damaged components, adjusting circuits, and patching scratches in the armor's exoskeleton. Liara watched silently, occasionally nodding or tilting her head as if studying his technique. Despite her calm presence, Ethan felt a tension in the air, a quiet energy that made the small workshop feel larger than it was. Hours passed. The station lights dimmed automatically for the late shift, but Ethan didn't notice. He was focused, methodical, completely absorbed in the challenge. The armor responded to his work, systems lighting up, mechanisms clicking into place. He realized that this repair wasn't just mechanical, it was a puzzle of logic, requiring both understanding and intuition. "Why are you helping me?" Liara asked suddenly, breaking the silence. Ethan paused. He didn't expect the question. "What do you mean?" "You understand the systems, yet they are not human. You fix them with knowledge you were never taught. Why do you help someone you do not know?" Ethan considered the question. He could have refused, citing the danger or the unknown. Instead, he shrugged. "I like solving problems, I like helping, and maybe it's also curiosity. I want to know how it works." Liara's eyes seemed to shine brighter. "Curiosity is rare. Admirable in humans." A soft alarm suddenly echoed through the station. Ethan jumped, glancing at the small display. Nothing critical, I think, just maintenance alert." He tried to appear calm, but Liara's presence made even mundane events feel charged. As the night stretched on, Ethan worked carefully, connecting circuits and smoothing the armor's surface. Liara remained seated nearby, silent yet aware. He noticed that when anyone else approached the workshop, they hesitated, giving her a wide berth. Something about her demanded respect, though Ethan assumed it was military discipline or training. He didn't imagine for a moment that she could be anything more than an officer of high rank. Finally, after hours of meticulous work, Ethan activated the armor's primary systems. Soft lights pulsed in harmony with small mechanical sounds, and the suit responded to gestures he hadn't given it before, anticipating commands with almost human intelligence. Liara rose slowly, the armor fully functional again. She turned to him, her face calm but unreadable. "You have done well, human. This suit surpasses its former efficiency. It is ready for the challenges ahead." Ethan swallowed his pride and smiled. "Glad to hear it. Took me all night, though. I think I need a rest." She inclined her head. "Rest? Yes, you have earned it." For a moment, Ethan thought he saw a hint of amusement in her eyes, but she quickly returned to her calm, authoritative demeanor. Before she left, she handed him a small, smooth device. "This is a token of gratitude. It may aid you in the future. Consider it a gift from me." Ethan accepted it cautiously. The device was unfamiliar, with a subtle energy humming beneath its surface. He had no idea what it did, but he felt a spark of excitement. Perhaps it was another puzzle, another challenge to test his skills. As Liara walked toward the exit, Ethan couldn't help but glance back at the armor. Something about it, and her, felt different now. There was power here, strength beyond what he understood. Yet he told himself it was simply an impressive officer he had helped, nothing more. The door closed behind her with a soft metallic click, leaving Ethan alone in the quiet workshop. He wiped his hands again and leaned against the workbench, staring at the device in his palm. Curiosity swirled in his mind. Who was she, really? And why had she chosen him? Despite the questions, Ethan felt something new, anticipation. For the first time in a long while, he felt connected to something larger than himself, something vast and unknown. He didn't know it yet, but his life was about to change, in ways he could never imagine. The station's hum filled the silence, and Ethan smiled to himself. Problems to solve, mysteries to unravel, challenges to face. That was what made life worth living. And tonight it had begun in earnest. Outside, the stars shimmered cold and distant, but in that small workshop, a spark had been lit. A human mind had met alien ingenuity, and the consequences of that meeting were only beginning. Ethan had no idea that the woman whose armor he had repaired was no ordinary officer. She was a queen, a ruler of worlds, and his simple act of repair had drawn him into a galaxy of intrigue, danger, and discovery. But for now, he only knew one thing. He had done something remarkable, and in the quiet of the station, he allowed himself to feel proud. Tomorrow, he would return to his engines, circuits, and tools, but the memory of her and the strange device she had left him would linger. And somewhere in the back of his mind, a question had begun to form. Who is she, really? And for the first time, Ethan realized that curiosity was more than a pastime. It was a key. The night stretched on, quiet except for the hum of machinery and the pulse of lights in the repaired armor. Outside, the galaxy spun in endless darkness, waiting for the story to continue. The next morning, Ethan returned to his workshop, his mind still buzzing from the events of the previous night. The station's corridors were quiet at this early hour, except for the occasional hiss of airlocks and the faint hum of engines running deep within the hull. He glanced at the small device Liara had left him. Its smooth surface felt warm in his hand, and the faint pulse of energy within it seemed almost alive. Curiosity gnawed at him. He had tried pressing buttons, twisting edges, and even connecting it to his workstation, but nothing obvious happened. Yet the device seemed to react to him in subtle ways, vibrating slightly when he touched certain components or glowing faintly when his mind focused on specific ideas. Ethan shook his head. Whatever it is, it's not like any tech I've seen before. He was so absorbed that he didn't notice someone approaching until a shadow fell across his workbench. "Good morning, Ethan." He jumped slightly and turned to see Liara standing there again, fully armored, though her helmet was off this time. Her silver skin caught the soft station lights and her eyes sparkled with the same calm intensity he remembered. "You, again," he said with a half-smile, trying to mask his surprise. "Didn't expect you back so soon." Liara tilted her head. "I wanted to observe." "Your work is unique. I wish to learn more of your methods." Ethan laughed softly. "Learn from me. I'm just a repairman, nothing special." "Nothing special," she repeated, her voice calm but questioning. "Yet you solved problems in ways my technicians would not consider." "That is remarkable." Ethan felt a flush of pride. "Well, I like solving problems, that's all." She studied him for a moment, her gaze penetrating yet gentle. "Curiosity drives humans. It is admirable and dangerous sometimes." Ethan frowned. "Dangerous? How?" Liara did not answer immediately. Instead, she moved to the workbench, her gloved hands hovering over the repaired armor as if sensing its inner workings. "This armor contains systems you do not fully understand, yet you interfaced with it skillfully." "That is not common among humans," Ethan shrugged. "I just looked at how it worked, figured out the logic. It wasn't magic, just patterns." Her eyes softened slightly, almost as if she was smiling. "Patterns, yes. That is how humans see the universe. Logic hidden in chaos." "Interesting." There was a pause, and Ethan noticed something unusual. Several station personnel stopped at the edge of the corridor, glancing nervously in their direction before quickly moving on. When he looked again, Liara seemed completely at ease, as if they were invisible to her. She must have some kind of authority, Ethan thought, but he didn't yet consider that it might be more than military rank. Over the next few hours, Ethan worked on minor adjustments for her armor, integrating small enhancements he had improvised. Liara observed silently, occasionally asking questions that challenged his reasoning or offered subtle hints about how her technology worked. Ethan was amazed at how adaptable she was, how easily she understood human logic despite her alien physiology. As he tightened the last bolts, a soft chime echoed through the workshop. Liara's eyes flickered toward the station monitors. "Unexpected communication," she murmured. Ethan leaned over her shoulder, curious. On the screen, a small group of alien ships had appeared at the station's edge. Their symbols were unfamiliar, their intentions unclear. Ethan felt a jolt of anxiety. Are they friendly?" Liara's gaze was steady, her posture unchanging. "That is unclear, possibly seeking someone, possibly seeking me." Ethan froze, seeking her. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. "You mean trouble?" She shook her head slightly. "Not necessarily, but one must always prepare. Observe closely, human. Danger may come subtly." Before he could respond, Liara moved to a console and accessed a holographic display. Symbols and data streamed in shapes and colors Ethan had never seen. She manipulated them with precision, her fingers moving so fast it was almost impossible to follow. Ethan realized she was analyzing the ships, calculating their speed, potential threat level, and trajectory in real time. He stepped back, amazed. "You're incredible." Her head turned slightly, meeting his gaze. "You have seen nothing yet." Ethan felt both awe and unease. There was something in her presence, a power he could not comprehend, and yet he felt strangely safe. She wasn't just commanding technology, she was commanding respect, presence, influence, something beyond any officer he had met. Hours passed. Ethan worked, repaired, and adjusted, while Liara continued her silent observation. Occasionally, she would comment on minor improvements or suggest alternate methods. Slowly, he noticed subtle details. How the station personnel moved aside for her, how small alarms were muted in her presence, and how even automated systems seemed to prioritize her commands. Ethan brushed it off as military protocol. She must be very high-ranking, he thought. Still, The hints of her true nature began to settle in his mind. There was an aura around her, one that was impossible to ignore. Later, as they sat together over a cup of synthetic coffee, Ethan asked, "Liara, you really are someone important, aren't you? Not just an officer." She paused, her gaze distant. "Important, yes. Yet importance is relative. To some, I am a leader. To others, a target." Ethan frowned. "A target. Enemies exist," she said simply. "Even those far away will seek what I possess, and even now some wish to control, not negotiate." Ethan felt a knot in his stomach. "Control you, but you're here, aren't you? Safe." Liara's eyes softened, almost tenderly. "Safe is temporary. Caution is eternal." He realized that her calm demeanor hid a depth of experience, wisdom, and burden that humans rarely carried. And yet she had chosen to confide in him, to share her presence in a quiet workshop. Why me? He wondered. The day passed, and the alien ships slowly approached the station. Ethan worked alongside Liara, helping her analyze and prepare for potential contact. His human ingenuity provided solutions she seemed to respect, adjustments to armor, rerouting energy conduits, and enhancing sensors in ways that complemented her advanced technology. For the first time, Ethan felt like more than a repairman. He was part of a team, part of something larger. His mind raced with possibilities. What if he could do more? What if humans could rise to meet challenges in ways even advanced aliens had not anticipated? As evening fell, the station's lights shifted to soft amber, and Ethan finally stepped back from his workstation. Liara stood near the viewport, watching the approaching ships. Her posture was relaxed, yet every movement conveyed authority. Ethan noticed that her face, though calm, held a faint trace of concern. "You have helped me greatly today, Ethan," she said. "More than you realize. Your skills, your creativity, they are rare among your kind." Ethan scratched his head, smiling awkwardly. "Well, thanks. But I'm just me." "No," she said firmly. "You are human. That alone carries strength, resilience, and perspective. You see patterns others cannot. You act when others hesitate. That is valuable." Ethan felt a swell of pride tinged with awe. Humans do have a place out here, he thought. Maybe we are not as small as we believe. Suddenly, the station alarms blared, a warning of the approaching ships. Ethan froze. Liara's eyes narrowed, scanning data on her wrist console. "They are scanning for me," she said quietly. "Their sensors are advanced. They will know of my presence soon." Ethan's heart raced. "And what happens then?" Liara straightened, her aura shifting into a commanding presence. "Then we must be ready, and we will be. You will see what humans are capable of when they stand together with purpose and courage." Ethan realized in that moment that he was no longer just an observer. He was part of a larger story, one that could shape the fate of the galaxy in ways he had never imagined. As the alien ships drew closer, Liara's calm authority contrasted with the rising tension in the station. Ethan felt a thrill unlike anything before, a mix of fear, excitement, and determination. And deep in his mind, a quiet thought took hold. If humans can rise to challenges like this, maybe we truly can stand among the stars. The day ended with Ethan looking at the night sky through the station's viewport, the alien ships glowing faintly against the blackness of space. Beside him, Liara prepared silently, her focus absolute. Ethan's mind raced with questions, ideas, and a newfound sense of purpose. He was beginning to understand that this was only the beginning, and that the woman before him, though still a mystery, held secrets that could change everything. And somewhere deep inside, Ethan felt a spark of pride that humans, curious, resourceful, and daring, might just rise to meet the galaxy's challenges in ways even advanced civilizations had not expected. The night stretched on, and in the quiet of the station, two unlikely allies prepared for what was coming. One was a queen, though Ethan did not yet know it. The other was a human engineer, whose skill and courage might one day make the difference between survival and defeat. The hum of the station was suddenly pierced by a deep, resonant alarm. Red lights bathed the corridors as warning signals flashed across every console. Ethan froze, heart racing. "What's happening?" he shouted over the blaring sirens. Liara stood calmly, her eyes scanning the holographic displays. "We are under observation and possibly under attack," she said, her voice steady, almost chillingly so. She moved with a grace and confidence that made Ethan feel like he was standing next to a force of nature rather than an alien visitor. Ethan's mind raced. "Attack! Here. But the station is human-controlled. How could anyone get past the defenses so easily?" "They did not come to destroy," Liara replied. "Not yet. They seek something or someone, likely me, and they are clever enough to avoid immediate confrontation. We must respond carefully." Ethan's hands went to the controls at his workstation. He had repaired many systems over the years, but this was the first time he felt the weight of consequences heavier than a damaged engine or a malfunctioning reactor. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. Liara turned to him, her calm gaze unwavering. "We work together. Use your human ingenuity. The station's defense systems require adjustments, improvisation. You will help protect not just yourself, but countless lives." Ethan's stomach nodded, but he nodded. "All right, let's do this." The two of them moved through the station in practiced synchronicity. Liara gave precise instructions, directing Ethan to reroute power to certain sectors, override sensor locks, and enhance defensive shields. He marveled at how she anticipated every possible threat, predicting the enemy's movements before they even appeared on the monitors. "It's incredible," Ethan whispered as he worked. You know exactly what they'll do." Liara's eyes were fixed on the holographic projections. "I must, otherwise I would have already fallen. Observation and anticipation are survival. You, Ethan, have a different strength. You improvise. That is something even my most advanced systems cannot do." He felt a rush of pride. Human creativity, something she valued, was making a real difference in this crisis. For the first time, he realized that his skill, his problem-solving ability, and even his curiosity were crucial in a way he had never imagined. Suddenly, the display flashed. Multiple small ships had appeared at the station's perimeter, cloaked but detectable through advanced sensor manipulation. They moved with precision, encircling the station like predators. Ethan's hands shook slightly as he activated the defenses he had improvised. Small turrets hummed to life, energy shields glimmered, and automated drones took positions near vulnerable corridors. "They are probing the station," Liara said quietly. "They want information or confirmation of my presence. We cannot let them succeed." The alarm intensified, and Ethan felt the raw fear of facing something far beyond normal human experience. Yet he also felt a surge of determination. Humans were resilient. Humans adapted. He could do this. He had to. "Ethan," Liara said, her tone shifting subtly, commanding yet protective, "prepare the armor. I will need it soon, and you may need to act outside the rules." He hesitated. "Outside the rules?" "Yes, sometimes survival requires more than procedure. You can think beyond it. I trust you." Ethan nodded, understanding that this was no longer just a repair job or even a simple crisis. This was survival, strategy, and quick thinking, all rolled into a moment where humans and aliens worked side by side. The enemy ships advanced, testing the station's defenses with rapid energy pulses. Ethan quickly adjusted power flows to counter the attacks, rerouting circuits and improvising shielding protocols. Each decision he made affected the safety of the entire station. Liara moved alongside him, calm and deliberate, demonstrating tactical maneuvers that seemed almost like a dance, guiding Ethan and the station personnel without hesitation. At one point, a small blast hit the outer ring of the station. Sparks flew and alarms blared in Ethan's ears. He rushed to the damaged console and rerouted energy, fingers flying across buttons and touch panels. The system responded to his improvisation, stabilizing just as another pulse struck. Liara observed, silently approving his quick thinking. "Impressive," she said, her voice carrying through the chaos. "Humans think differently. That is why you are valuable." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and disbelief. She trusts me. She actually trusts me. That thought gave him courage he didn't know he had. As the attack continued, Liara suddenly moved to the communication console. Her fingers danced across alien symbols, sending rapid messages that Ethan couldn't fully understand. Within moments, her shields strengthened, turrets recalibrated, and the enemy's attacks began to falter. Ethan realized that she wasn't just commanding technology, she was commanding strategy, intelligence, and the station itself. Then it happened. A sudden jolt shook the workshop as a hidden boarding pod breached the station's perimeter. Ethan instinctively dove to safety, watching as Liara activated her armor with fluid precision. The suit, now enhanced with the adjustments Ethan had made, glimmered with energy and responded instantly to her movements. Ethan couldn't take his eyes off her. She moved with lethal elegance, disarming attackers without lethal force, blocking energy blasts, and coordinating drones with a calm authority that was mesmerizing. This isn't just an officer, he realized. This is someone extraordinary. As the chaos raged, one of the enemy's drones slipped past the shields and targeted a vital power conduit. Ethan sprang into action, diving toward the console and rerouting energy with split-second timing. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, and yet the system stabilized. Liara glanced at him briefly, a subtle nod of acknowledgement passing between them. Hours felt like minutes as they fought together. Ethan's human ingenuity, combined with Liara's advanced tactical skill, gradually turned the tide. The enemy ships began to retreat, unable to penetrate the station's defenses or anticipate the combined strategies of human and alien. Finally, silence fell. The station's systems hummed steadily, damage was contained, and the intruders were gone. Ethan collapsed against the workbench, exhausted but exhilarated. Liara removed her helmet, revealing her face once again. Her eyes, still calm, held a faint smile. "You have done well, Ethan, far beyond expectation." Ethan shook his head, breathless. I just did what I could." "No," she said firmly. "You acted decisively, creatively, and courageously. That is rare. That is human strength." Ethan realized in that moment that her words carried more weight than any praise he had ever received. They weren't flattery, they were recognition. Humanity, in its ingenuity and courage, had stood alongside an alien force and made a difference. Then, Liara's tone shifted, softer now, almost intimate. "There is something I must reveal. What I am, who I am, has been hidden until now. I am not merely an officer, I am the queen of my people." Ethan staggered slightly, disbelief written across his face. "Queen, your royalty." "Yes," she said simply, "I lead worlds. Yet today I trusted you, not for your rank or position, but for your mind, your courage, and your spirit. That is why I asked for your help." Ethan's mind reeled. All the subtle hints, the way personnel had deferred to her, the quiet authority she wielded, the unmatched skill in combat, suddenly made sense. He had been standing next to a ruler of entire civilizations and hadn't realized it until now. Liara placed a hand on the console beside him, her expression sincere. "Do not underestimate your own role, human. You were crucial today. Your skills, your courage, they mattered. You have proven that humans are not just survivors. They are creators, thinkers, and heroes in ways even I had not fully understood." Ethan felt a swell of pride, awe, and humility all at once. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and danger, and he had helped a queen survive an attack. Humans can truly rise to meet the stars, he thought, if only given the chance. The day ended with Ethan sitting beside Liara, staring at the star-filled expanse beyond the station's viewport. The alien ships were gone, but their presence lingered as a reminder that the galaxy was vast, unpredictable and full of challenges. Liara's voice broke the silence. "Ethan, you have the mind, courage, and spirit of one who could walk among the stars. I hope you understand that your journey is only beginning. There will be more threats, more challenges, and more opportunities, but you are ready." Ethan looked at her, understanding finally dawning. I want to help. I want to be ready. If humans have a place here, I want to prove it." She nodded, a small smile gracing her lips. "Then you will. Together, we will show what humans and allies can accomplish. The galaxy will remember." For the first time, Ethan felt a sense of destiny, a purpose larger than any engine repair or starship maintenance. He had begun as a simple engineer, but now, standing beside a queen, he understood that humanity had the potential to rise, to create, and to inspire even among the stars. And as the station hummed quietly around them, the universe beyond twinkled with infinite possibilities, waiting for those brave enough to reach for them. The aftermath of the attack left the station quiet but tense. Repairs were underway, alarms reset, and personnel cautiously resumed their routines. Ethan moved through the corridors, checking systems and making minor adjustments to ensure stability. Even though the immediate danger had passed, the weight of what had happened pressed on him. He had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty and survived. Liara walked beside him, her presence calm, composed, and reassuring. She had returned to her armor, now enhanced and fully functional, yet there was no trace of arrogance. Instead, she carried herself with quiet authority and a sense of purpose that left Ethan in awe. "You performed admirably," she said, her voice low but firm. "Today, you did more than repair machines. You protected lives, solved problems, and adapted to circumstances that few could manage." Ethan shook his head, humility mixing with pride. "I just did what I could. You're the one who knew exactly what to do. I was just trying to keep up." Liara's eyes met his, steady and penetrating. "Do not underestimate yourself. Humans are underestimated far too often. Today, you proved why your kind matters among the stars." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a quiet pride that went beyond personal achievement. He realized that being human, curious, resourceful, and courageous was something remarkable. He had spent his life tinkering with engines and circuits, never imagining that those skills could matter on a galactic scale. Over the next few days, Ethan worked closely with Liara and her attendants. He helped repair damaged systems, reinforced station defenses, and fine-tuned her armor for even better performance. Every adjustment, every solution he provided, was met with quiet approval from Liara and subtle acknowledgement from her attendants. He began to understand that his human perspective, simple logic, intuition, and creativity, was complementing her advanced technology in ways even she could not fully anticipate. One evening, as the station hummed with activity, Liara invited Ethan to the observation deck. They stood side by side, gazing out at the stars. The distant glow of alien worlds and the twinkling of distant ships filled the void beyond the viewport. "You see," Liara said, her voice soft yet firm, "the galaxy is vast, filled with civilizations, conflicts, and opportunities. Many would overlook humans, seeing them as primitive, fragile, insignificant, but I have seen your value firsthand. Humans adapt, create, and persevere where others falter." Ethan nodded slowly. "I never thought of it that way. I just fix what's broken, make things work." "But I guess humans do more than that, don't we?" Liara smiled faintly. "More than you realize. You are thinkers, problem solvers, and innovators. And when courage combines with knowledge, humans become formidable. Today, you demonstrated that." For the first time, Ethan felt the weight of possibility pressing on him. The stars outside seemed less distant, the universe less intimidating. Humans had a place here, not as followers, but as contributors, creators capable of shaping outcomes, of rising to challenges that no one had anticipated. As they spoke, the station's communications panel lit up. A message arrived from Liara's home world, sent by her council. They congratulated her on surviving the attack and praised the human engineer who had aided her. Ethan listened, astonished, as they detailed how his quick thinking, improvisation, and courage had contributed to the station's defense and her survival. "You," Ethan said, disbelief in his voice. "You told them about me?" Liara nodded. "They wished to know who assisted me. Your actions were too important to go unnoticed." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. Recognition from a Queen's Council was far beyond anything he had ever imagined. And yet, he realized that the honor was not just for him. It was a recognition of humanity's potential. Over the following weeks, Ethan continued to work with Liara, learning about alien technology, tactics, and diplomacy. He adapted quickly, applying human logic to solve problems her people had not considered. His innovations improved communication systems, optimized energy flows, and enhanced defensive protocols. Liara observed quietly, occasionally guiding him but largely allowing his ingenuity to flourish. One day, while recalibrating a set of energy shields, Ethan paused and looked up at Liara. "You know, I never thought humans could really do this, but working with you, seeing what we've accomplished, it feels like we belong here." Liara's eyes softened. "You do. And more than that, your kind has the capacity to influence outcomes in ways that even advanced civilizations sometimes overlook. Courage, creativity, and determination, these are not weaknesses. They are strengths." Ethan smiled, a mixture of pride and realization lighting his features. He had always believed in human ingenuity, but now he saw it recognized by someone who had the power to judge with impartial wisdom. The station had recovered, yet the universe remained vast and unpredictable. Liara's presence reminded Ethan that danger and opportunity were never far apart, and yet, instead of fear, he felt anticipation. He understood that humanity could rise to meet the galaxy's challenges, not through strength alone, but through intellect, adaptability, and courage. One afternoon, as they walked through the station's central hub, Liara spoke quietly. "Ethan, the galaxy is not static. New threats will emerge, alliances will shift, and challenges will grow. But you have demonstrated a capacity for thinking beyond the obvious. That is why I wish for you to join me, not just as an engineer, but as a partner, a representative of humanity among the stars." Ethan's heart raced. "A partner with you?" "Yes," she said, her gaze unwavering. "Together we can demonstrate what humans and our alliance can accomplish. You will have the opportunity to contribute, to innovate, and to protect. The galaxy will test us, but I have confidence in your ability and in humanity's potential." Ethan felt a thrill unlike anything he had experienced. The quiet workshop he had once called his world seemed small and distant now. His life had expanded into the vastness of space, full of challenges, possibilities, and adventure, and he was no longer just an observer. He had become a participant in events far greater than himself. He nodded slowly, determination replacing doubt. I want to do it. I want to help. I want humans to show what we're capable of." Liara's smile widened slightly, a rare but genuine expression. "Then we will, and together we will ensure that humanity is recognized not just as survivors, but as creators, innovators, and leaders. The universe is wide, Ethan, and we have much to do." Over the following months, Ethan's partnership with Liara deepened. He traveled aboard her starship, witnessing alien worlds, cultures, and technologies. He applied human ingenuity to challenges that even her advanced civilization had not fully solved. Systems that were considered unchangeable were optimized, communications enhanced, and defensive strategies improved through his innovative thinking. Liara observed him with respect and subtle admiration. "Your mind is a rare gift," she said one evening, watching him calibrate an energy field. "Humans, you have a way of seeing possibilities that others overlook. That is why I chose to trust you." Ethan smiled quietly. "I never imagined my skills would mean this much to anyone. And yet here we are," she nodded. "And yet here we are. Humanity has potential beyond what most civilizations understand. Your courage, adaptability, and intellect will continue to shape outcomes across the stars. You have proven that your kind is worthy of respect and recognition." As they gazed at the stars together, Ethan realized that his journey had only just begun. He had started as a simple engineer, repairing machines on a quiet space station. Now he was a partner to a queen, a representative of humanity, and a participant in a galaxy that would test his courage, intellect, and creativity in ways he had never imagined. And for the first time, he felt the full weight and excitement of potential. Humanity, he realized, was not limited to a single world, a single station, or a single problem. They could rise to meet any challenge, adapt, create, and inspire. Liara's voice broke the silence once more. "Ethan, remember this. Courage and ingenuity are not just qualities of survival. They are qualities of leadership, influence, and change. And you embody them." Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling a sense of purpose and destiny unlike anything he had experienced. I understand, and I won't let you down." Together, human and queen, engineer and ruler, they prepared to face the galaxy's challenges, not with fear but with ingenuity, courage, and determination. And as the station settled into quiet operations once more, Ethan realized that humanity's place among the stars was no longer a dream. It was reality. The stars outside twinkled in silent approval, and for the first time, Ethan felt that humans were truly ready to shine. The universe awaited, and this time humanity would meet it head-on.